The crafts, Nibiru, there were thousands of Nibirus, different sized Nibirus. The word Nibiru comes from the word Nabara, which merely means to elevate, to go upwards, and descend downwards. You follow? This one craft that you're talking about, they crashed into this planet, Tawaka, or Tiamat, called Nibiru, which is one cube-shaped craft that when in motion creates an orb. Sometimes which is similar to male and female, by the way, in nature. It crashed here, and y'all are based on that. The commanding officer of that craft was Murda. You understand? But the intellect, the high priest, or the Sam, or the mastermind, the Most High, was called Anu. Anu had two sons who were in conflict with each other. And he knew that this was a very dangerous expedition, so he said, I'm taking the son of the disagreeable one who has become agreeable and make him the commander so he can make proper decisions. Enlil would have been too passive and Enki would have been too aggressive. So he took the reptilian seed because Enki's wife that gave birth to Murdoch and them were reptilians and sent him to a planet where reptilians ruled because Genesis tells you that this planet was covered underwater and it was dark, so he could not send a mammal, he would have drowned. So when the craft came in and the Nibiru stopped outside of their solar system and sent in shafts that came in here, they hovered. Then they brought in what they call crystal cities. What they brought them in, and they were like small cities, and they lived there while they started the experiment. And then they went on to Mars and the moon. This is now years ago when I said that, people said crazy. Now that they found life on Mars, now they found that there's life on stations on the dark side of the moon, it ain't funny no more. There's a great possibility that what I'm saying might be truer than what the hell they're saying. They gotta make me crazy because none of this is in the Bible.
There's some profound connection between Earth and Mars, and it comes to Earth at a place called Giza, on the Giza Plateau.
Could the planet Mars enlighten us about a myth of a lost civilization? Recent exploration suggests it may be so.
All the talk tonight is about Mars and whether American scientists have the proof that life once existed on that planet.
A huge, stunning breakthrough was made. We went to Mars, we took pictures, and we found structures.
Amazingly, structures in the shapes of pyramids.
The pyramids on Mars are overwhelming evidence of intelligent design.
Not only that, on Mars, as in Egypt, there appears to be a sphinx-like face, maintaining a watchful eye on these massive Martian monuments.
The Sphinx on Earth is a composite, the body of a lion, a feline, with the head of a man. The face on Mars appears to be a composite. It appears to have a left and a right half, where the right half is a hominid, anthropoid, simian. The left half, looked down from orbit, appears to be feline, lion-like, cat-like. So what we see in the face on Mars is a fusion, just like the Sphinx on Earth, of two living forms, hominid and feline.
Skeptics say it's a natural rock formation. The image we see, just a simple trick of light and shadow. Hoagland counters.
We're seeing all kinds of evidence of reflections, of brilliant reflections, like polished metal surfaces with the sun glinting off. This is not natural geology.
Unexplained hieroglyphics add to the theory. South of Cairo in remote Abydos is the Temple of Seti I. Is it possible that there is evidence here of advanced technology the ancient Egyptians could not have possessed? Evidence never before revealed to the public.
There is this extraordinary panel. And on this panel, there are odd, weird, bizarre, high-tech things that look like helicopters and land speeders and spaceships and the Millennium Falcon. Nobody has said, what is a helicopter doing in the ancient sands of Egypt?
In fact, the curious image looks exactly like the Apache helicopter introduced to the U.S. military only 10 years ago.
Why do we have these connections between Earth and Mars? If we don't answer that question, we will have failed completely as a species.
Why would the Martians leave home and relocate on Earth? Hoagland suspects Mars had its own Armageddon. A meteorite collision some 12,000 years ago.
Something shatteringly horrible happened to Mars and killed it. If that alive Mars contained intelligent life forms, they would have had to leave. We think they came here. But you and me, and everyone watching this tonight, we are the Martians.
As the Earth hurtles closer to the new millennium, amidst dire prophecies, perhaps there is an even more pressing reason to find out about our link to Mars.
Whoever came before, as they realized that they were approaching a catastrophe, left time capsules, records, hoping that the next civilization would find them, would figure out what did they do wrong? How can we, before it happens again, figure out what they were facing and do it right?
Could the Martian pyramids contain these records? And is it possible there's advanced knowledge that might ensure the survival of the human race? Perhaps in the 21st century, man will land on Mars only to confront his own history.
We can rule again. We can be masters of our fate, masters of our destiny. The key is in knowing who you are. And we need to go home.
And the only way they can keep me and you passive is by keeping us believing that some God called Jesus is going to come get us one day. And this keeps me and you from turning around and kicking him for all the stuff he done did to us. So you got to keep me and you in that state of mind where we're always going, okay, Lord Jesus, Jesus going to come, he's going to come. Every Christmas is coming, he ain't got here yet. From 2,000 years. And that's a bit, now he's getting to the point where you're starting to say, we done had 2,000 Easters and I ain't seen no Jesus yet. You better come up with some Jesus real quick. So he'll be fabricating Jesuses any day now. You understand? So he creates scenarios like David Koresh and beat him up, and that regenerates your belief in Jesus. Or to have a bunch of Tammuz come on television and say, I had this thing I was doing, Jesus touched my life, and you start really believing it. So these are rechargements because you become too conscious. You're wise enough to ask questions that they cannot deal with. Anu is a man. You follow? I saw him myself in flesh. What you're caught up with is time lapse. And here's what I get caught up on with time lapse and people who were born in this country and were once Christians. They don't have any problem with the part of the Bible. It says that Elijah came to Jesus and met him on a mountain. And Jesus did a transfiguration. They say, now this man Elijah and this man Moses was dead for thousands of years. Right in their Bible it says that they came back and met Jesus and talked to Jesus. Less than 2,000 years ago. You hear me? And the disciples watched it. And then when they finished, Jesus was all full of light, transfiguration. Then they took off and went out. How old was Moses when he was standing in front of Jesus? How old? He would have had to be at least 4,000 years old. And Elijah, who went up on a golden chariot, almost 8,000 years old. But Jesus saw them as they were. Why? Because there's a such thing as time leaping. Time regenerating. See, they're reanimating tissues again. That means they've mastered time and age and death. They admitted that death is an illness that there's a cure for. They already admitted that people die of a cardiac arrest and they can cure it. Because now they have, if you take an aspirin a day, you prolong your life. It's a known fact. If you take a bare aspirin every night, right, you won't have to worry about a heart attack, even if it's in your family. That's simple. How did it come out? What's an aspirin? Mold. What's mold? The original source of life. All they did is went back to the original source of life. All that cutting up and chewing didn't mean a thing. Take an aspirin, which is from mold, which is a self-grown life form, which is what I told y'all a couple of weeks ago. I said, if you want to create life, all you got to do is take a bag and stick a piece of bread in it that's been dead, all life out of it, you can burn it, stick it in there, and put some water in it and twist it, and leave it there for a couple of weeks, and mold will grow. Therefore, you created life where there was no life. That's what happened on this planet. The right conditions between hydrogen and carbon and oxygen, the right conditions within the 99 elements. And sunlight, and the sunlight produced the life on this planet, which started an evolution in the water. But when the beings came here, they had to go beneath the water. And that's why I was explaining to y'all about Genesis. When you listen to the story of Genesis, whoever's talking is talking from beneath the water. Because it says the Spirit of God moved upon the surface of the water. If the planet was void in darkness and it was